Hey guys, today's video is going to finally be a review on the Morphe 35M palette. I know I promised you guys this review oh god, I feel like it was a month ago at this point, but I got sick for 2 weeks, didn't wear any makeup. I feel like I've been saying that in the past 4 videos, but anyways, I finally feel like I have played with this enough to kind of give me my thoughts on it. I almost didn't do a review at all, but I know that there's one person specifically who did ask to see a review from me. And I was just thinking that even though a lot of review videos are out, none of them are my opinion, and maybe you guys are interested in my opinion. I heard Andrea Matiliano, I don't know how to say her last name, say kind of the same thing on her channel. And she said, you know, even though I'm not the first one to get a review out, maybe people are still interested in my opinion. So that's why I'm still kind of filming this video today. So let's just hop right into the review. So the first thing I want to talk about is, well, first, I should probably tell you the price of this palette. It retails for $24. I got mine at Ulta Beauty because I used my points and a coupon, so it was a little bit cheaper for me. The main thing that attracted me to this palette was the color story. So the Melt Gemini palette, the ColourPop Good Sport palette, which I've since purchased, and there was another really pretty fall palette that I really wanted. At the time when this palette was released, were just really grabbing me, and I really wanted to buy all of them, but I knew that I can't afford that realistically. But then I saw this palette, and I feel like the color story kind of is similar to those palettes. I definitely see the Melt Gemini palette with these nice warm browns and kind of these greens. ColourPop Good Sport has some of these greens, some of the purples. I feel like it has some warm coppery shades too, which are also in here. And then I don't remember what that third palette was, like I said, but I know this was 3 palettes in one for me, and it was much cheaper to buy this than buying each of the other palettes. So I did go ahead and pick this one up. So like I said, I have been testing this out for about a month, so I feel like I really know these shadows and I really have a very full opinion on them. So these shadows are definitely not the Jaclyn Hill formula. They're not as buttery or creamy. They're not as pigmented either. That being said, these shadows do have a good pigment still. They're very different than the ones in the Jaclyn Hill palette. I feel like these are nicely pigmented, but you also have to build them up a bit, which I really don't mind, especially when I'm creating maybe a bit more of a complicated look. I would rather build up that color slowly and then blend it out bit by bit, instead of just putting a whole bunch of color on there all at once and having to figure out how to blend it out, how to make it look nice. So keep that in mind when you buy this palette. The mattes, I don't know, I feel like the mattes and the shimmers, neither of them are the most pigmented that I've ever used, but they're very user-friendly, and I think if you're a beginner with makeup or you're just kind of stepping your toe in with color, I think these are super easy to use. I think these would be a nice place to start for you. The shimmers I do like, but you definitely need to wet them with a brush. You guys will see that in my demo, that I wet both of the lid shades that I have on today to kind of get them to this full intensity and this full shininess. I find that even works better than using your finger. These just need to be built up a little bit. That's just kind of the bottom line. But for the price, I do find that they're very easy to work with, and I think they still have good pigmentation. The only shadow that I really have had a huge issue with is this shade right here, and it's kind of a deep navy blue shade, and it's called Transformer. Now, I have used this shadow more than once, and the one time that I used it, I did just want to note it because even though it didn't quite happen the second time, I didn't use quite as much of it the second time. This shadow blended out really patchily over my lid. I did kind of use it in more of a precise manner, and I kind of just packed it on the very outer corner, right here, kind of like I did today. And I found that it did work well in that capacity, but that blue just does not blend the greatest. It doesn't blend the smoothest. It's really not my favorite shade in this palette. Now I am going to insert some swatches of this palette in right here. They'll be up a little bit closer, you guys, so you guys can really see each shade. One more thing I do want to note before I do that though, before I forget, I almost forgot. These shades, some of the shimmer ones, have really pretty sparkle in them. I really enjoy that, and I hope that you guys can really see that in the swatch, because that is one reason why I'm kind of willing to work with these shimmers. I'm going to kind of lean in so you guys can possibly see my eyelids. But there's kind of this really pretty pinky reflect in that yellow gold shade that I have on my inner lid. It is so beautiful, and I think that's one aspect of these shimmery metallic shadows that I really do enjoy. But here are those swatches for you. Alright guys, so here is the first row of swatches. I built these up a teeny tiny bit. As you can see, the mattes they're not on the sheer side, they're just buildable. They're buildable mattes, which is actually really nice. So this first shade is Light of the Party. You can't really see it because it's just kind of a champagne that blends into my skin. This shade is Pop Star, which that was the one that I was referring to on my lid that has all that beautiful gold sparkle. This one is called Stroke of Luck, Express Yourself, Nude Tude, Green with Envy, and then Sheen Stealer. Look at the beautiful sparkle in that one. I am obsessed with that shade. Oh, so pretty. Alright guys, so here is the second row of swatches. I'm so glad I did these close-up swatches because you can really see the different colored kind of glittery sparkles in each shade. So this shade is Stand Out. This shade is Bold Moves. Oops, moved out of frame. This shade is Electric Energy, Hello Sunshine, Play It Cool, Hot Stuff, and Peachy Keen. Look at the beautiful reflex in this is Stand Out and Hot Stuff. Oh my goodness. This is why I don't mind building up these shimmers and working with this palette a little bit. Alright guys, so here is the third row. We have Fired Up, Bright Eyes, Bossy AF, MOTD, I think, Talk Dirty, Hot to Trot, and Sparks Fly. So I will note that I forgot to mention this in my review, that Bright Eyes and Bossy AF are so creamy. They are not like the other shimmers in this palette. I don't think I made note of that before I did my review, so if I find any others in here that are extremely creamy and kind of the exception to this palette, I will definitely let you guys know. Look at the beautiful like pinky reflex in that shade. Oh my goodness. So this is the fourth shade, guys. So it starts with Confidence, Red Carpet, Power Slayer, Daredevil, Vampy Vixen, Sweet Beats, and Color Persona. This is a very pinky purple row, and I really love it. With the exception of this purple shade, it just comes off quite dull, and it's not super like ba-bam in your face purple like I was really hoping it would be. Final row, so we have Transformer, Center of Attention, Indie Glow Queen, Grape Expectations, Candy Crush, Sultry Wars, and Black Magic. Now I feel like we really did not need two shimmery blacks. Based on the pan, it looks like this one was maybe supposed to be more of like a shimmery navy, but it just comes off looking really black. And Candy Crush is a bit of a softer shade. I don't think I would expect that based on the pan. I know I've used it on my eyes and it performs fine on the eyes. It's pretty much just like all the other mattes in this palette. It's definitely a buildable matte. Now I did do a little demo on this look that I'm wearing today using this palette, so I will insert that right here too. So guys, we are zoomed in for the application. I say zoomed in because I literally just have to bring my tripod closer to me because if I zoom in on my iPad, the footage gets a little fuzzy. So anyway, so we're gonna zoom in for the application. So I did already do this eye. I mean, you can obviously tell because I wanted to save some time on camera, but I'm gonna do this eye with you to give you kind of a demonstration on how this palette works. So I did already prime my lid with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and I very lightly set it with a bit of translucent powder. And now we're gonna go in with the palette. So I think that I want to start with this shade right here. It's called Nude Tude. Isn't that the name of one of the Balm palettes? Nude Tude? Nude Dude? Nude Dude is one of them. I don't know. And I'm just going to take that on an M433. Yes, my brush is very dirty. I need to wash them. I just haven't yet. And I'm just kind of fluffing this through my crease. I'm not taking it up super high. I'm kind of just keeping it in my crease. This shade does need to be built up a bit, but I really don't mind that because I would rather build it up slowly than go in and not be able to blend it out like with Subculture. I feel like that one you have to be so careful. These shadows you really don't have to be quite as careful with because they do have pigment, but they're more like build it up shadows, which I really do not mind. And then I'm going to go in with my M533, which is just bare, and I'm going to blend that out a bit. And next I'm going to go in with a bit of a lighter green shade. I'm going to go in with Stroke of Luck right here, and I did this on the other eye. I feel like it looks okay in the end, but for a couple seconds here I'm going to look really sick and just gross. And I'm just going to take that on this Wet n Wild, I think this is a crease brush. It's really, like the bristles are really loose, so it doesn't really pack on the color too much, but I'm just gonna kind of fan this a little bit over my crease and above, just to really blend that other shade out. Then I'm going to go in with that bare fluffy brush again. I feel like I did not conceal this eye as well as I concealed this one, because I think I have more veins on this eye, to be honest. So it might look a little bit patchy, but on this eye everything blended beautifully, so I'm pretty sure it's just the veins on my eye. Just blending, and then I forgot which color I went on with. Okay, I think, pretty sure I went in with Green with Envy right here, and I just took that same M433 brush, and I'm focusing this more on the outer corner, but still in kind of a diffused manner. And then once I get most of the product on my outer corner, I am going to start taking it into my crease, just to build up a little bit more depth. And then I'm just going to go in with my trusty blending brush once again to blend those shades out. Yeah, I feel like I just look like I got punched in the eye right now. It'll all come together once we put stuff on the lid. I think I'm going to go in a bit more with that lighter green shade, Stroke of Luck, on just the same Wet n Wild brush. Just kind of go over it a bit. And then I think I cut my crease. I don't know why I'm like forgetting what I did, but I always use my ColourPop No Filter Concealer to do that. I'm going to use my Shop Miss E122 brush to do so. This is my favorite brush. I feel like right now it's super dirty from that skull tutorial that went up on my channel Wednesday? Yeah, because I just put a video up this morning. So like 2 days ago. And I haven't washed it yet, but I love it so much. It's so perfect for cutting the crease. It's just like, it has the perfect like rounded shape at the top. I just love it so much. I cannot stay away from it. And I'm just cutting my crease like I normally would. And then once I get to kind of my outer corner, I'm just cleaning off the concealer on the back of my brush, and I'm just kind of dragging it inwards, because I do want to have a little bit of a blend right there. Even though we're going to cover it up with shimmer shades, it just looks a little bit nicer. And I'm going to do this next step out of order to the way that I did it the first time, because I feel like it makes a little bit more sense. I'll probably have to go back in and touch it up later, but I do want to try doing it first. So I'm going to take the shade Green with Envy right here, and I'm going to take my e.l.f., what is this called, Detail Crease Brush, and I'm just really going to load up the tip of the brush. And I'm just going to kind of focus on stamping that in my outer corner and a bit into my outer crease. Once I get to my outer crease, I'm kind of using more buffing motions than stamping motions. But I really love, because I got all the shimmer shades done on the other side, and then I felt like I really need something to kind of anchor this look, and I just love that extra depth in the outer corner. So we're going to try to start with it this time, but I'm sure I'll have to re-intensify it. Then I'm just going to take that M433 brush that we used in our crease originally, and I'm just going to blend that out a bit. I'm not really going over the concealer, just really focusing in the crease. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Pop Star right here, which is this beautiful yellow-green shade. It's probably my favorite shade in the palette. I don't think I have anything like it in my collection, and I just love it so much. So I am going to wet my brush with this shade. I just find that that's the easiest way to get the most pigment and shine from these shadows, like right from the get-go. I'm just putting it on my other eye. And then I'm just going to pack this on the inner, like, half of my lid. I'm not really going in the inner corner with this shade. I really want this shade to stop about right here, but I'm taking it in just a bit further so it will blend into the other green shade that we're going to put on the lid. And that other green is going to be the shade Bold Moves right here. And once again, I'm just going to load up my brush and then go in with some setting spray. I'm using the Color Effects Illuminating Setting Spray, by the way. This isn't like my holy grail eyeshadow wetting setting spray. I need to use it up, and I don't like using it on my face because it has sparkle in it. So I'm just trying to use it up any way that I can. And I'm just kind of sandwiching this color between that yellow-green and then the outer corner. I'm kind of using those dragging motions, but I'm dragging towards my inner corner when I do this. And then I am going to build up that yellow-green again, Pop Star. I just really want these colors to be very vibrant and stand out. I'm mostly focusing the product on my inner lid, not really my inner corner, just the inner lid. And then once I have less product, I'm blending outwards towards that other green shade. And then I'm just gonna hop back in with Green with Envy. I knew I was gonna have to re-intensify things. And that e.l.f. Detailed Crease Brush, again, getting the product on the tip. And this time I'm just gonna go in small circular motions. And then once again, going in with that M433, just bare, kind of blending that a bit. Actually, I think I am gonna go in with the shade Nude Tude, that original shade that we put in our crease, just to help blending a little bit. I'm going with a very small amount. I just barely dipped my brush in and then I tapped off the excess. Then I'm gonna go in with my big fluffy brush again. I'm gonna take a little bit of translucent powder and just buff over those edges. And then I did on this eye go in with a little bit of black shadow from this palette. This one is called Black Magic, and I'm just going to take my Luxie 221 flat definer brush, load up my brush, tap off the excess, and then I'm literally just going to press this against my upper lash line. Since these kind of green tones can make you look a bit sickly, it's really important to kind of line your eyes to create kind of a barrier and some contrast, so it looks more intentional and less like you got punched in the face. Alright guys, well I'm gonna go finish the rest of my face and then I will come back to finish up the eyes. So, funny story, I was doing my lower lash line. I was just gonna do this eye first and then I could show you this eye on camera, and I just ended up doing both eyes. I didn't even think about it. So for my lower lash line, I just started with this nice brown shade right here, Play It Cool. I didn't want to go with another green or that lighter green because I felt like if it kind of encircled my entire eye, it might actually look like I've been punched in the face and I have to go pay rent and go pick up my car today. So I do have to go out in public. But then I just smudged a mixture of Green with Envy and Nude Tude kind of really close to my lash line, and then I just blended it out with a little bit more of Play It Cool. But that is the completed look. And finally, we will briefly talk about the packaging, although I don't think there's too much to talk about. It's kind of just the standard Morphe plastic packaging. I do kind of like the squared off edges a little bit more than the rounded edges that they used to have, and I do like the new logo. I think it just looks a little bit more luxe. The shades are not on the palette. You do get shades, which I guess is nice, but they're just on one of those flimsy card things right here, which I don't have that big of an issue with because I can easily just slide it up there. I mean, I don't have a mirror up there to use, so I just slide them up there and then I can just really quickly look back and forth if I am doing a tutorial with this palette or post or something like that. So I don't think the packaging is the best. It's kind of cheap, but you guys know what you're getting into with Morphe packaging. So overall, I think that if you don't mind working with not the most pigmented eyeshadows and building up your shimmers a little bit, and if you really love this color story, I say go ahead and get this palette. But I would say go to Ulta, use your $3.50 off coupon, use your 20% off, use your points, because you can get it for a little bit cheaper there. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos that I post. I post about 3 times a week. This week I posted 4 because I had kind of a bonus Halloween video, but normally it's about 3 times a week. And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!